Maryland has another chance to make a statement.
You are Locked On Terps, your daily podcast on the Maryland Terps. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? I'm Tre Moore, video content creator for 247 Sports and InsideMarylandSports.com, and host of Locked On Terps for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So thank you for making us part of your day. And today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. These days, new potential hires can feel like high-stakes wagers for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. The Terps have a chance to make another statement tonight against the Northwestern Wildcats in another huge matchup for the Maryland Terrapins and a chance to make the season look real. Maryland plays Northwestern tonight at 9 p.m., a little bit of a later time game over there on the road in Illinois at Northwestern. But Northwestern is having a very good year so far. Another really great year. They're 12-4. They're 3-2 in the Big Ten. They're currently third in the Big Ten, and they're having a really good year. They look like a solid team overall in terms of their record. When you watch them, they're pretty solid. This Northwestern team definitely is a pretty good team here, and they recently have wins over Michigan State. They have a win over Penn State. They also have losses by like Illinois by 30 and Wisconsin. But they look like, in terms of their record, in terms of their resume right now, they look like a team that's going to play in March, a team that is going to make the tournament. We'll see what happens overall, how their season continues to go. But they do look right now like a team that is destined to make the tournament again. And I think this Northwestern program has hit a new height, honestly, because this would be their second year hitting the NCAA tournament. And last year they had their only second NCAA tournament bid. So they had their first tournament bid since 2017, and that was the only one they've had in program history. So this Northwestern team has definitely a different energy towards them. They don't have the same history that the Maryland basketball program has, but they have this newer car feel, this new coach kind of thing where this coach is doing some really good things. They look like they have a lot of great things going on over there for Northwestern. Last year, their coach won Big Ten Coach of the Year, so they're a very solid coach group. I think he definitely elevates the talent. I don't think they're the most talented team in the Big Ten for sure. Definitely not. But I do think they're a really great team that Maryland has a chance to make a statement against. And Northwestern made one of the biggest statements of the season already, which is a huge resume win. The statement that they made over Purdue. They beat number one ranked Purdue at the time. Purdue is definitely one of the best teams in the country. I watched them play Indiana some last night before it was kind of a blowout, even though Indiana made it close a little bit in the second half, but then Purdue stretched it away. Purdue is definitely one of the best teams in the country. It is so hard to beat a team that's Zach Edey led with that 7-8 guy, it feels like, down there and down low in the post-up game, and what he does and how you have to double him and how it just changes the whole entire game in terms of him on the glass, in terms of him down low. And beating a team like that, I always joke that I'm like, Purdue should never lose a game with that guy in there. But Northwestern was able to make a huge statement by getting that type of win, getting a quad one win. So they've made their statement on the year, and they've also kept up solid play overall in terms of their non-conference. They basically won all those games. And then you look at, in terms of in Big Ten play, they're 3-2 in Big Ten, which is an awesome place to be for sure, to be on the winning side of the Big Ten, and they're 3-2. And they're third in the Big Ten. So if Maryland wins this game and makes a statement against Northwestern, this team that was ranked at a certain point, and that is a team that is kind of hovering around the top 25. They're not a top 25 team right now, but this is definitely a huge win for Maryland. If Maryland can win this game and is able to move to 4-3 in the Big Ten, that could be a big deal for Maryland fans, the Maryland team overall for in terms of our trajectory heading into March. March Madness looked like an absolute no-no a couple weeks ago when we lost to Minnesota. It looked like we didn't have a chance to do it. It didn't look like we should do it. It didn't look like we have the talent enough to do it. It didn't look like we were good enough to do it. But now March is we have a real kind of shot at it, and we really have a shot at getting back into things tonight. And I mean, the Illinois win, it was like, okay, you beat the 10th ranked team in the country. They're a really talented team. They're one of the better teams in the country and all that kind of stuff. It was great. It was amazing. But what do you do from that? Do you say, oh, like that was just an upset and we're going to go back to the Maryland basketball that I saw a couple weeks ago and before the win against Michigan and before the win against Illinois, against 10th ranked Illinois? Do you go back to where it looked before, where it just looked horrible? It looked like Kevin Willard couldn't coach. It looked like we could never hit a shot. It looked like we didn't have a chance to do anything this year. It looked like Maryland basketball program was on a downfall and things were going to get bad quick. Or do you take this Illinois win and say, yeah, we're riding this momentum and we got some things figured out now. Julian Reese is back and he's going hard and he's getting to the basket and he's doing his thing and he looks like an all Big Ten type of player again. And Jameer Young looks great and Dante Scott's going to continue this really solid streak. Does that happen, or do you go back to how you were against Purdue, against Minnesota in the second half, against some of these bad losses that you've had in the season, go all the way back to the Villanova loss where we barely could score? One thing's for sure, we have come a long way, but I don't want to see us go up and then you slide back down. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see us climbing, and it looks like things are going well, and then you just you slide right back down. I think the Terps won't do that. I think they have a chance to make a statement tonight. Even if they don't win this game, I wouldn't call this game quite a must-win game. I think they have other opportunities coming up to win games, but I do think this game is pretty important for the Maryland Terrapins, and it's a chance to make a real statement as a team, show that win against Illinois isn't fluke, because upsets happen in all sports. They happen in college basketball. They happen in the NBA. They happen in the NFL. They happen in college football. Upsets are just something that just is part of sports, and it's a big part of sports. Prove that the Illinois win it was an upset, but it's also because we're just a really good team. So make that statement tonight. Prove that we're right back into things, and that our preseason third in the conference in the Big Ten was no fluke, that we actually are that type of team and that we really can do something like that. And we are one of the better teams in the Big Ten. Prove that overall if you're a Maryland fan or a Maryland player in Kevin Willard, because right now I don't know how many people believe in it. I think a lot of people are on the high of it, but I think a lot of people are like, take a reality check and think, this team, I don't know if this is real or not. And I'm one of those people. I'm not sure if this is real or not. But the Terps have a chance to make a huge statement tonight against Northwestern and win their third straight Big Ten game and get to a winning record inside the Big Ten. How do the Terps take down Northwestern? What are the keys to winning this game? Who do we need to stop? I will tell you about that after this ad from LinkedIn Jobs. These days, new potential hires can feel like high-stakes wagers for your small business. That's why you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. A lot of people need jobs right now, and if you want to find someone amazing for your company, LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to right now. Make sure to get started on LinkedIn Jobs. How do the Terps take down this pretty talented Northwestern team? This is how they do it. The number one key to me is stopping Boo Buie. By far their best player. The offense runs through this guy, was an all Big Ten selection last year. When I've watched Northwestern play, I think this kid is a really good player overall. He can do everything. He shoots a three ball. He can get to the rim. He can shoot a mid-range shot. He's really the difference in this game, in my opinion. I don't think they're all that great when he's on the bench, not creating for him. I think they struggle a little bit, but the thing is, he doesn't really come out the game very much. But I think if we limit Bowie, I think we have a really solid chance at beating them. He's averaging 18.3 points per game and 5 steals and 5 assists and 1.3 steals. So he usually gets about a steal per game. So watch out for that. Don't let him get like 2 or 3 steals overall. Don't let him pick your pocket and get a couple of free buckets down in transition. But this kid has a chance to be all Big Ten. He was first team all Big Ten last year. Definitely one of the better players in the conference. And he's a lot like Jahmir Young. They're both very similar, I think, in terms of the offense runs a lot through them. I think Northwestern, I wouldn't say they haven't been so dependent on him like we've been so dependent on Jahmir Young. But they definitely need Boo to create a lot of shots, and they need him offensively. And without him offensively, I don't think they're I don't know how good they are. And that's kind of what Maryland is. Outside of, if we don't have Jahmir Young, I don't know how good we are offensively either. But that's why I say number one key is to limit Boo, because he can drop 25, he can drop 30, he can do that type of thing and make this game not close. I think that Jahmir Young, Boo Kelly matchup is one of the best matchups you'll see this year in the Big Ten. And I need Young to win this type of matchup for us to win the game, I think, because if Boo outscores Young by like 5, I don't really see us winning the game. I really think Jahmir Young has to win that matchup. I think they'll be guarding each other. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they'll be guarding each other. But this is 2 heavyweights, 2 of the best in the Big Ten, fighting for recognition in the Big Ten and known as the best point guard right now in the conference. I give the edge to Jahmir Young right now, but this guy, I mean, I might be biased because Boo Buie is like definitely one of the best players in the country. So he's priority number 1 defensively. If we somewhat limit him, you usually don't stop guys like this. You usually hear this. You're not going to probably stop him completely, but just limit him. Find ways to make it harder on him, but you're probably not going to stop him completely. Maybe force him just to go below the average. Maybe force him to get 15, and I think you're in a good spot. Maybe force him to shoot the ball not very well tonight. Maybe just switch it up on him. I don't think you have to do anything amazing. Like, he's not like Zach Edey where it's like we have to like completely change everything up. It's not like that, but like he can definitely get a bucket and definitely can carry this Northwestern team to a win. I've noticed when they struggled off, I've seen them play when he's in foul trouble, they struggle. When he's struggling offensively, they struggle. So this team really goes behind him overall, and he's really a big part of what got them a March Madness bid last year for them. Next key, I think, is you can't turn over the ball against this group. Northwestern is great at winning the turnover margin. They average winning the turnover margin by 4.48 every single game, which is second in the Big Ten. You could say this is a key to any game, but this is definitely a pretty big key for this game, not turning over the ball. My reason is because when a team is that great at forcing turnovers and being positive in the turnover margin, you don't want to give them even more of an opportunity to be great in that margin. You don't want that turnovers to come back and be like, that's the reason we lost, and like lose the turnover margin by like 7 or 8. Their average is winning by 4. Other teams have lost the turnover margin to them by more. So don't be one of those teams. If you lose a turnover margin to them by like 2 or 3, it's all right, because I think that's a big part of their team. And I don't think this team is like superiorly talented, this Northwestern team. So a big part of them winning games is winning the turnover margin. They're going to do those type of things, smart things like that. And they're good at forcing turnovers as well. So don't allow them to win the game by just winning the turnover battle by like 8 or 9. Don't let that be a thing. Young guys, Deshaun Harris-Smith, whoever it is who handle the ball a lot. Jameer Young has had times where he's turned over the ball a lot. Don't turn over the ball more than you should. And then next, offensive rebounding, but I'm taking it as a stance that we can offensive rebound. I don't think they're very athletic in the front court. I think this team is heavily like guard led, in my opinion. I don't see a lot of problems down low for us. And I do think we can dominate them on the glass, partially because just of my eye test and what I've seen from them, from their front court players and their big man. I don't think any of them are like crazy like rebounders or anything like that, but also the stats just back it up. This team is like the worst in the Big Ten at getting rebounds right now. So that's an opportunity that we can take advantage of when we're talking about Julian Reese down low, or even Jordan Geronimo has showed he can do some offensive rebounding at times. And then also Swat and Rogers off the bench. I think he can do some really solid things rebounding the ball overall. But I think the Terps need to rebound the ball pretty solidly well to be able to win this game. I think if Northwestern is out rebounding you by a lot, or wins the rebounding margin and the turnover margin, you probably don't win this game. I do think the Terps can overcome some things against this Northwestern team. I don't think it's like Purdue where like you kind of have to do everything right to have a chance at beating them. I think Maryland can definitely overcome some things to beat them, but I say that the keys are for sure stopping Boo Buie is number one, or limiting him. Like I said, you don't stop a guy like that, limit him. And then also I would say the turnover margin, don't lose the turnover margin by more than 3. And then also winning the rebound and getting offensive rebounds. It should be we definitely should win the rebounding battle overall and be able to crash the glass offensively. And then I also need Dante Scott to continue to play well. Dante Scott has been on a hot streak recently, or I wouldn't call it like a hot streak, but he's been a very good third option for us. He's been averaging like over 10 points per game, getting in double digits most games. So we need him to continue to do that because we need a third option, especially on the road. And my last key is don't let Ty Berry get hot. Ty Berry is their shooting guard, one of their other guards, or small forward. They really just kind of have 3 guards, but he's one of the best shooters in the Big Ten. He shoots 44.7% from the three-point line. Pretty stroke. Don't let him beat you from the three-point line. Make him drive it overall. Make a lot of these Northwestern players drive it. I don't know if they can. And so don't let this guy get up shots. Don't get out on him on the three-point line because that can really open up the game overall for the Terps. Let's get into my predictions for the game. Who wins? I will tell you after this ad from FanDuel. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 of bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find the bets in the Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. My predictions for the game, I think Maryland wins this game and continues this momentum. I'm making a bold statement right now. I think the Terps win. I don't think it'll be an easy win. I think it'll be a back and forth close game overall for the Maryland Terrapins, but I do think we win. The interesting thing is that Northwestern lives in this kind of trap defense overall, but I think the Terps can do a good job of exploiting that with posting up Julian Reese down low. But the thing is, Julian Reese is going to post up, but he's going to post up not to score. Julian Reese probably won't have a big day scoring the ball because anytime you get the ball in a post-up situation, Northwestern traps. And I think Julian Reese can have like 6-7 assists just feeding guys. The only thing I struggle with that is that I think we struggle shooting, so I think it could potentially work well against us. But I think we have a solid day against this Northwestern team. I don't think they're like ultra talented or anything, And I think that we win this game. I think we win by about 2, 3, 4 points on the road. I really think that we've hit our stride as a team. I think we're where we need to be overall. I think Kevin Willard has done a really good job finding weaknesses in our opponent like he did against Illinois. And I think Maryland wins this game. We'll see what happens overall. It is on the road. We usually stink on the road. So let's see if those road struggles look a lot better now. But that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening to Locked on Terps. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're here every day talking Maryland football and basketball. So thank you for listening to Locked on Terps.